days to go. It's obviously incredible that after all this waiting, all the anticipation, all the discussions over, who should play Caspian and kids riding centaurs and Susan fighting and global warming and blah blah blah, and it's all come down to this. It's kind of sad though that it's finally coming to an end. Just kind of how I felt when Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was finally coming out. That wow, after 4 years, after all the discussion and all the anticipation and blah blah, it's all come down to this. So it's kind of sad that the anticipation's finally coming to an end. This has been such a fun experience. I've had such a blast making these videos too, but fortunately, my little low-budget recreation of the Journey Back to Narnia behind-the-scenes video was only necessary for a couple days because they finally put it back online in glorious high definition. What a difference high definition makes! Let me tell you, you go from that little tiny flash screen to 1080p. But there's not that much new stuff in it. But overall, it's an encouraging video. Although there's one not so encouraging thing at the very end. But overall, there's some encouraging stuff in here. I do want to note real fast though that it's interesting that the interviews with Adamson and Johnson in here, that they were probably filmed in the middle of 2006. Because if you get the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe Extended Edition and click play with intro by Andrew Adamson, that interview was obviously done at the same time as the interviews in this video. The same with Johnson. So it's amazing that long before they even start shooting, the middle of 2006 is when these interviews were done. But there's not that much new footage in here. That's just a couple interesting bits. But it's an overall encouraging video. First thing I want to discuss is the kids running along the beach, and when they get there, and it looks like they're gonna have. Harry Gregson Williams will probably write some really upbeat, kind of fun, exciting music for this. And it's not in the book. It's not quite such a joyous thing. I mean, obviously Lucy says, "Oh, do you think we've got back to Narnia?" And but I think it's interesting that it's gonna be an exciting moment. I think in the film they get there, it's like, wow, we're back, much more so in the book, which is I think appropriate for film. Make a kind of an exciting moment out of that, with return being the big theme. Lewis obviously talks about how he plays it down like it's kind of depressing. They're going back to school. Oh, a wood, Of course, I do wonder how quickly they're going to find out they're actually in Narnia. You do wonder, would they be this excited about it if they didn't know they were in Narnia? That's probably maybe that's the reason in the book why they don't immediately get really excited about it, because they don't really know where they are. Are they stranded? Are they dead? But so I wonder, are they going to immediately say, "Oh, we must be in Narnia," or are they going to kind of hang on to that mystery a little longer? Which I hope that they do, because that makes the treasure chamber scene much more powerful. You got a good look at Trumpkin here, and there's not much more to say about him other than I wish they made him more red. I'm not nearly as annoyed as when they made the White Witch not hardly white. That was really she was not even really white. That's what was stupid, especially at the battle. I mean, she's the White Witch. That's what she's all about, and that's obviously such an important thing about her character too, because of what happens in Magician's Nephew. But so I'm kind of annoyed. He's a red dwarf, so I don't think he's really red enough. I guess because they made him look older. I guess that's the idea, so he's not as red. But he looks okay, I guess. No huge complaints. He could be a lot better. The cinematography, once again, continues to amaze. I think my favorite shot in here, and one of my favorite shots you've seen so far, is when it's showing that little overhead where it pans behind them. And I wonder if they're going to do some kind of big visual effects dissolve where it shows Cair Paravel as they remember it, and then it pans down and fades into the ruins, kind of like the series of unfortunate events thing that they do with the house at the very end in the movie. And but I just love this shot. Everything about the cinematography has just blown me away in Prince Caspian. I mean, Don McAlpine did a good job in the first movie, but I'm just really thrilled with this new guy that they've got. Just looks awesome. I have no idea where Caspian is in this shot here, where he's looking up. I mean, my first thought was the castle. Maybe before he rides away, or maybe it's during the night raid somewhere. It also might be a different part of Aslan's House. Come to think of it, we've only seen one area of Aslan's House, haven't we? It's just that the Stone Table Room is all we've seen. And one of the first sets I went on when I was in Prague was what they called Aslan's House the Cistern, which is probably twice the size of the Stone Table Room. And just this gray stone, not much to it. And they said it was the room that kind of led into Aslan's house. So that might be, and there wasn't any firelight in that or anything. So this just might be another area of Aslan's house, possibly. Once again, cinematography looks awesome. Love that shot that kind of goes past mirrors and looks over the edge. And the night raid's looking pretty interesting. Very strange for me to see this, because I was there. That gate at the end, kind of towards the left on the picture, I walked through there. That leads out to the bridge. It's just mind-blowing to look at this stuff right now. For me, it's very, very strange to see some of this footage, knowing I've walked there before. And they say one of the things that Ernie Malik told me when we was there is that you're gonna have fawns climbing up trying to get at Miraz on his balcony, and Glazel's gonna be shooting him. Maybe that's what's going on right here in the previs, is that they're gonna be these fawns are trying to get to Miraz, and I really don't like it. Just looks too Spider-Man Legolas. You know, it just looks like you're jumping off the wall and, and bouncing. Maybe it'll look different in the final film. Maybe that's when you really think about how fawns probably would fight. But I don't really like the idea of Narnians being like super experienced fighters. You would think that they would be. That's one of the aside from numbers. That's one of the disadvantages they would have, is that they've been hiding in the woods forever. They're not the well-trained army that the Telmarines are. So I actually think it'd be more exciting if their fighting style was more. I mean, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe kind of makes sense because it's the golden age of Narnia. So in the emotional context of the movie, it makes sense that the Narnians would be good fighters. But I think it would be more appropriate in this film if they were just kind of, you know, kind of like how Peter fought the White Witch in the first movie. They're not terrible fighters, but they don't have these cool moves like they've got here. And so I'm hoping they don't take that too far. But it looks like they kind of have. It's got some more Aslan iconography here, and I love this. This looks like it's in the treasure chamber, and it looks like Peter looking at something that reminds him of the old days, and I just love it because it just this video and the trailer captured the spirit of the book so well, as far as kind of the strangeness of returning to something a year later and finding out it's different now, you're a legend and everything, but just that strangeness. I love that word nostalgia that Adamson uses. Love that. It's just such a great description here, and I love, you know, the look on Peter's face when he looks up is just love it. Lewis talks about it in the book in the treasure chamber. If you'd have been there, you would have heard them saying things like, "Oh, remember this?" and our coronation rings and blah blah blah. And so I really think that's what's going on here. More of a somber moment, I think. And but I'm just really excited about this scene. I just think it looks like they've captured that whole strangeness of returning to Narnia in Prince Caspian. But Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, when I saw the first trailer, I thought the first trailer for Wardrobe really captured that thing with Lucy, and there are many doors in this house and blah blah, really captured what the scene was all about in the book, sort of the mystery of it. And then in the movie, it was still a good scene, one of my favorites, but the movie, it was more about, oh, isn't this amazing, rather than isn't this strange, you know, which is what I thought the book was more about. And so the trailer and this video just capture that so well, but we'll see what happens in the final film. And a couple more night raid shots here. It's really cool to see Peter really experience. I thought they handled the sword fight in Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe with the White Witch very well, where he obviously wasn't that experienced with a sword. But I think it's really cool to see. It's going to be cool to see the difference here. Peter's actually is going to be a really experienced sword fighter. That's going to be really cool to see. And obviously one of the most controversial shot in this film. This is the big downer. You got Susan looking all Legolas, action hero-y, you know, shoots a Telmarine. And I decided that it's more about Susan's attitude than anything else. I mean, in the context here, obviously, if Susan like suddenly got ambushed by a bunch of Telmarines, she's not just going to sit there and get run over. She's going to pull out her bow and defend herself. The problem here is it's Anna Popplewell's performance, I think, has become the issue. She looks all, you know, I'm going to kick your butt, and then the next shot where she kind of has that, you know, she's got this rhythm about it, and I just don't like it. So I just think that it's one thing to have her fighting, but fighting like all action hero-y, that's what I really don't like. So it's really Anna Popplewell's performance. She looked more like she was more afraid or focused, you know, rather than being all, you know. So I think that Susan fighting is probably okay as long as you don't have a performance like this. That's really become the issue. So I wouldn't be as upset about Susan fighting if she did it like Susan actually would if she did, you know. That's what's stupid. Like I just can't. I'm calling her Susaless. I can't help but feel like the character Susan has been cut out of the film. That's how strongly I feel about Susan fighting. But 68 days to go. It's crazy. It's all coming to an end, and already people I've been saying for some time now. So when's the next trailer coming out? When's the next trailer coming out? And based on the way Disney's been kind of, I think, intentionally under marketing Prince Caspian, I'm gonna say that next trailer might be out like early April. Is what I'm going to guess. As close to the release, I think, as they can get. 68 days to go, and it's all coming to an end. It's kind of sad, really.
Walt Disney Pictures and Walden Media invite you to watch these shots from the trailer one more time.